Thanks for being here, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started. We are recording, so we want to kind of keep it down. If you have any questions for me, we'll be here at the end.
Okay, you guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay. You weren't here last time. I'm Chad Alvey. I own Crossfit Riverport down the street. If you were here last time, I'm still Chad Alvey, just with less facial hair. So last time we talked a little bit about my story and a little bit about why fitness would be important. I'd like to get a little more feedback from you guys and tell you a little bit more about what fitness is, what I think fitness is, what the industry seems to think fitness is, and what we can do to become fit. So I guess my first question from some of you guys is, why would you want to be fit? And I want to hear back from a few of you guys. Why would you want to be fit? Any answer would be fine. Go ahead.
Better quality of life.
Better quality of life. Somebody else?
Just to feel better.
Feel better?
Less chance of getting diabetes.
Live longer? Healthier? Nobody wants to look better?
Look better.
Thank you. I mean, at the essence, it's all it boils down to, right? We all want to look better. We all want to feel better. We all want to be healthier. We all want to live a longer, healthier life. If you heard my story last time, it all boiled down to I got tired of playing with my kid, and I wanted to be fit so that I could play with my child longer. So going further into that, what is fitness? How would you guys? How would someone define fitness? What is fit? It seems like this anonymous word that's hard to figure out. What is fitness?
Keep busy, keep working.
Be busy, keep working. So how would you judge whether someone is fit or not? By their physique, by their work capacity, their stamina, their ability to live longer. Speaking of stamina, okay, so a couple years ago, I think it was Outdoor Magazine came out with the fittest man on earth. And they said the fittest man on earth was an Ironman athlete. Would you guys agree that an Ironman athlete, does everyone here know what an Ironman is? So would you guys agree that an Ironman athlete is a very fit person? And have any of you seen the strongman competitions on ESPN? Those big guys that carry all those big things. Would you think that they are a very fit person?
No.
So how would you define fitness in that category? But they're really strong. They have an increased strength that allows them to do a certain amount of work. If your house was on fire, who would you want coming in there and pulling you out of your house? An Ironman athlete or a strongman? You want a strongman. He's going to bust through walls and drag you out of your house. So those are two different terms of fitness. How about a bodybuilder? Is a bodybuilder fit? But do you think a bodybuilder could complete an Ironman? No. Those are three different types of fitness, three different types of fitness levels. They all have their advantages and disadvantages, but they are all vast, they are all small pieces of the vast area of fitness, the world of fitness. To define fitness, I would think that you would want to have some part of all of that. I want to be able to run a long distance or have an increased amount of stamina, but I also want to pick up something really heavy if I have to. If all I did was train for an Ironman, I would have a really hard time picking up something really heavy. Have you seen those guys cross the finish line? They're in horrible shape at that point. A lot of them have to be carted off. That is not, to me, the peak of physical fitness at that point. That is taking your body past what is a healthy point. And it's the same thing with any athlete that competes in a specialized sport. So they are very good at what they do, but are they completely fit in the entire world of fitness? I wouldn't think so. So if I'm challenging fitness like that, how can I define fitness? For me to challenge and say that an Ironman athlete is indeed not the fittest person on earth, how can I back that up and say what is fitness? So we've got 10 general physical skills listed up here that's going to help us define fitness and what fitness is and how we can use these to become fit. So first listed up here is cardiovascular or respiratory endurance. So that really means just my body's ability to take oxygen and use it to supply my muscles with the oxygen they need. That's just simple cardio. It's walking, riding a bike, jogging. That is how we build our cardiovascular system, taking our body level above what it normally could be. Stamina. Stamina is the ability of my body to maximize the amount of energy use. So I've got, it took me a long time to figure out what the difference between endurance and stamina, or stamina and cardiovascular endurance was. The difference is oxygen and energy. Those are two different systems in our body. Strength, the ability of a muscular unit or a combination of muscular units to apply force. We all know strength. How do we get stronger? We pick up heavy things. That's how we get stronger. Flexibility. Flexibility is extending the range of motion of a joint. How many of you right now have the same flexibility and range of motion in your joints that you had when you were 5 years old? None of you. Have you watched a child play with a toy in a room? They can go down into a perfect squat, sit there all day, and play with a toy. If for any of us, if we can hit a perfect squat, if we were to stay down there more than 30 seconds, we're going to have a hard time walking afterwards. Why is that? Because we quit training. If we were to continue squatting just like a child every day for the rest of our lives, you would maintain that range of motion and flexibility in your joints. And none of us are too far gone that we cannot get back that range of motion and flexibility. It just takes work, and it takes work starting today. I've seen a video recently on the internet. It was over in, I believe it was China or something. It had a playground full of people that were in their 70s. And watching the amazing things that they were doing with their bodies that I know people in their 20s in America couldn't even dream of doing. I mean, these people were going down into these crazy yoga poses and pull-ups and planks and all of these things that we couldn't dream of doing on a daily basis. And these people are in their 70s and running around like a bunch of kids at a playground. Then we've got power. Power and speed are two things that is what takes everything and they are a production of the rest of them. So power is the ability of a muscular unit to apply force in minimum time. So the best way that I like to explain this is if Shannon can squat 200 pounds and I can squat 200 pounds. It takes Shannon 1 second to squat 200 pounds and it takes me 2 seconds to squat 200 pounds. Shannon is more powerful than me. She can move the same amount of weight over the same distance in a shorter period of time. She has more power. It's a more useful and productive strength. And then we've got speed. Speed, similar to power, is just the ability to repeat a movement over and over really quick. So the difference between power and speed is relational to force. So if I'm really fast, I can sprint really fast. Does not mean that I can actually pick something up and move it really fast. But I want to be able to do both. And now we get into what we call neurological fitness. A lot of people, when they think about getting fit, they think of all the physical things of being fit. Can I lift more? Do I look better? Can I run longer? Can I perform a certain act better? Those are all good things that are tangible and easy to see by someone walking up to you. What I really like to take into account, and what I really like about what CrossFit, my industry, takes into account, is the neurological sides of fitness. Your average gym that you walk into discounts the neurological side of fitness. Anytime you've got a cable or a pulley connected to you, you take out neurological fitness. So neurological fitness is made up of coordination. Coordination is being able to control your body. Can you control your body in a coordinated manner? I was never able to rub my belly and pat my head at the same time. Somewhere along the way, I noticed I was able to do that. I didn't practice it. I didn't know that I could do it all of a sudden, but one day I was able to do it. Because of all the neurological side of things, that fitness that I'm working on, I was able to have better control and coordination over the rest of my body. Agility. It's minimal transition time from one movement to another. We all know agility. You see people doing agility drills, running in and out of cones, doing that type of thing. That is a neurological fitness. It's not something that you can really get better at unless you train at it. You're not going to get faster at running from one spot to another unless you train at running from one spot to another. Balance. Balance is another thing that we take out of the question whenever we think about fitness. We think about all the other things, but balance is really important. If I'm really strong, but I can't balance myself to use that strength, how useful is that strength? And accuracy, the ability to control the movement in a given direction. So let's say I'm really strong and really fast and I can throw a punch really hard, but if I can't throw a punch in a general accurate direction, it ain't gonna do me a whole lot of good. So these are 10 general physical skills that we talk about that make up physical fitness and neurological fitness. So how do we put these together and how do we make these work? Well, constantly varied is how we really tie these together and make things work in our training. So the way that we do things and the way that we do things on a daily basis, our body gets to know. When God created these machines, they are wonderful, wondrous, amazing things. And they are built to survive above all costs. No matter what you throw at your body, it finds a way to survive. Your body is doing things right now to survive that you don't even know that's going on inside of you. You've got antibodies fighting off diseases. You've got all of these things, systems that are working together to survive right now. Whenever we start exercising, a lot of people buy a DVD or decide they want to run, or decide they want to pick a particular area that they want to use to create fitness or get fit, and it works. It works really well, especially if you've been sedentary. It works really well for a month. But then what happens? You plateau. Why do you plateau? You plateau because your body has figured out what you're going to do. If I were to come up to you and start poking you in the arm, I'm going to do that 4 or 5 times and you're going to start swatting me away. You've learned that you're going to get poked in the arm unless you swat it away. You learn what's happening and then you defend against it. Your body does the same exact thing. If I run every day, my body can get really efficient at running. That's why when I ran my first marathon, I was still obese, because my body got really good at running, but nothing else changed. My heart was healthier, but the rest of me didn't really change much. I got good respiratory endurance, but a lot of everything else didn't change. And then when it comes to what we're going to do with it, so are we going to be specialized in a certain sport, or are we going to separate out? Do you want to become really good at one thing, or do you want to become really good at everything? We are not going to be really good at everything, but I want to be efficient in everything that I do. Do you want to be able to go out here and do your job really well? And then do you want to go run a 5K on the weekend if you want to? Or do you want to go cycling with your children? How are you going to train to be able to do that? It's not going to happen by accident. Fitness doesn't just happen. If it was easy, all of us would be fit already. So I want to go over a little bit of how we can also draw it out a little bit. And what creates fitness. So we have a pyramid that builds on top of itself with different facilities and different things that we can use to create fitness. So down here, we've got cardio, stamina, respiratory endurance, whatever you want to call it. This is running. This is just my body's facility to do things. That's where I started. I started running. and I saw great success from running. And then my body built up defenses and it became less successful. So I had to start finding ways to trick my body so that it didn't know it was coming at it anymore. So then I added gymnastics. Gymnastics is not back handsprings and backflips and everything you see on ESPN. Gymnastics goes far beyond that. Gymnastics is any coordinated based body movement. If I'm walking, it's a gymnastics movement. If I do a pull-up, it's a gymnastics movement. So I went beyond just being able to breathe and move myself in an elevated manner. Now I can do it coordinated. That only took me so far. So where do I take it to the next level? Weights. Weights is loaded gymnastics. It's really all it is. I take gymnastics. I've gotten good at my body weight stuff. Now, how do I add a load to make my body stuff harder? To continue building muscle and taking myself to the next level. And then what would be the next evolution of that? What would take all of that and put it together? Sport. How can I take all that and apply it to something? So I take all of this and apply it to a sport, and that helps me create fitness. My sport is CrossFit. CrossFit is the sport of fitness. We use fitness and fitness-related drills, and we make a sport out of it. So we've got a nice little pyramid here. What do you think sits at the bottom of this pyramid? Anybody venture to guess? Food. Nutrition. For a long time, I got this part right. I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, I'm running, I can eat what I want because I'm working so hard in the gym. But then I would bounce back and I would get this right. I would start Atkins diet or Weight Watchers or whatever new fad diet was out. And it's, well, I'm eating really good, so I really don't have to work out since I'm doing one thing really well. I don't have to worry about the other thing. The secret to my success was when I took all of this and did it together. Without building one on top of the other, you don't have a good foundation without this nutrition. Our bodies were meant to run off of a certain fuel. Our bodies were designed to process that fuel for energy. Whenever well, just going back to talking about how amazing this machine is. We've all got a Ferrari here, and we're putting foam and fuel in it and expecting it to run like a Ferrari. Would you put oil in your gas tank and expect it to run like a normal car? You wouldn't. Yet we do it to our bodies and expect it to run like our body should. And we wonder why we're lethargic. We wonder why we don't feel like doing anything. We wonder why we don't sleep good. Wonder why we have all of these health issues. A lot of it stems by our diet, our nutrition. America, we have an unhealthy relationship with food. We use it to medicate. We celebrate with it. And we've grown up in this way. We use it for everything other than what it should be. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten about nutrition is this. Food is fuel. That's all it is. But we use it for so much more. I'll be honest, I eat stuff I don't like every day. I don't like half the stuff that I eat. I don't like half my meals. But I know that it's down. I have made and taught people how to get their diet down to a science. We use macronutrients. And these are all things that I can help you learn if we want to go past this. But food is fuel. You have to be intentional about what you're putting in your body. Because if you're just going with what's easy, you're not getting what's healthy. You have to work, just like you would in the gym, or just like you would here. You have to work at what you're going to be putting in your body. You have to think about this. Because the easy thing has led us to a really decaying society. Another good thing, if it says diet, if it says healthy, if it has light, if it has anything on it that sounds like it's made to be healthy, it's not. I can almost tell you that they've taken a natural ingredient and replaced it with a chemical. Our body at least knows what to do with a natural ingredient. It doesn't know what to do with it. So it gets processed just the same. It shoots up our glycemic index and everything gets thrown out and we get stored as fat. Another thing that we do wrong a lot is we eat too far apart. I eat every 3 hours. I encourage all of my athletes to eat every 3 hours. That doesn't mean eat a Snicker every 3 hours. It doesn't mean eat pizza every 3 hours. That means you should be putting something in your body every 3 hours. I help my athletes know how many calories they should take a day. This is something that you can talk to any nutritionist about, figure out where your body mass is, and figure out how many calories you should have a day and the macro ingredient of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates that you need to be taking in a day. And then you can eat anything you want as long as it stays within your macronutrients. Protein is something that we really lack. If you really think about the amount of protein that you put in your body every day, it's not much if you were to document it. Our society as a family, our society as a whole takes in a lot of fat. All of our foods are based on fat. A lot of our taste buds crave fat. Every time you drive past a McDonald's, what do? You crave McDonald's. That smell of that fat, that smell of that grease turns on the taste buds. We want it. I'm wanting McDonald's now just talking about it. But I'm not going to put that in my body. Whenever I first started and I wanted to start taking fitness to the next level, even though I was getting in really good shape, I noticed there was things just not changing as fast as I thought they would, as fast as I thought they should. So what did I do? I started documenting everything I ate during the day. Write it down. You'd be amazed what that'll do for you. You think you have a good diet now? Write it down. Write down everything that you put in your mouth during the day. You'd be surprised at how much you eat. And then break it down. There is an app called MyFitnessPal. You can put in everything you want in that app, and it will break it down into the macronutrients. And almost everyone that I've worked with on this, about 65 to 70% of their diet was fat. Fat should not be your biggest part of your diet. Fat should be the smallest portion of your diet. Carbs, proteins, and then fat. And no, carbs are not bad. I know that everyone has been pushed into thinking carbs are bad for us. Carbs are not bad for us. If you have an active lifestyle, carbs are very important. Your body uses carbs to create energy. Okay, are there any questions so far on any of this stuff? I've covered a lot. Okay, so going back to our physical skills, what can we do to create that other than just what we're doing? So we need to create something that is going to be well-rounded. If we continue doing the same thing over and over, then it's going to get really, really boring and it's become less effective. So how do we do that? We have to switch everything up. If you're doing a 5-minute workout every day, your body's going to get used to a 5-minute workout. If you're using a 20-minute workout every day, you're going to get used to a 20-minute workout. So what you need to do is constantly vary your exercise program, and you need to constantly vary your diet as well. So 5 minutes one day, 15 minutes the next day, 5 minutes the next day, 20 minutes the next day. That is the secret of what we do. We keep everything constantly varied, and we vary our exercises. I might be doing squats one day and running the next day, climbing a rope the next day, flipping a tire the next day. These are the things that create fitness. And what we want to create here is useful fitness. If I go in and bench press 500 pounds, what usefulness does that 500 pounds have outside of that gym? When in my life am I going to be laying on the ground and have to push up 500 pounds? More than likely, never. So what am I going to do to create fitness that will work outside of that gym? I'm going to be doing things open floor. I'm going to be doing things that it's going to translate outside of that gym. You would get more done in your backyard finding a few exercises, finding some heavy stuff to pick up, finding stuff to balance on, than you would spending hundreds of dollars at a gym every year. if you just be creative and be intentional at it. So that's really all I had to talk to you guys about today. Be intentional about your diet. Be intentional about your physical fitness, and don't try to take it for chance. And tomorrow is never soon enough. If you always wait till Monday to start a diet, you will always wait until that next Monday to start a diet. Today is the day that you start making physical fitness changes. Today is the day that you start making diet changes. Thank you guys for your time. Do you have any questions over anything that I've covered?
How much is membership in your?
In my gym? My gym is